What's going on, guys? This is Star Blast Studios coming here with a brand new figure review, and today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the new Beast Deities Zeno Goku Black. Now, obviously, if you guys know how Beast Deities have been doing things nowadays in order to avoid copyright issues and such, they have everything now in 3 different boxes, the main figure and such being in here with like an animal body on top of it. We have the face plates in here, and we have the hair piece and such in here, this being their pen holder now. Inside of the hair box over here, you can see that we got this and 2 different hair plates right over here. Taking these out, we got the emotional bookmarks right over here as well. And then here we have the main body with the accessories right inside of this bag. So putting everything all together, honestly, this is one of the coolest figures that I think Beast Deities has put out in a while. I loved the Super Saiyan 5 Gokus and the Super Saiyan 3s, but the problem with all those figures is that because of the hair, they were very back heavy. I feel like with this figure, you can really genuinely just appreciate how the engineering is on this figure a lot more, and actually being able to pose it around as a figure without having to worry about that back heaviness. For me, I didn't actually have to go ahead and put hot water on the pegs in order to actually get everything to fit on there. I know a lot of people don't really like Dragon Ball Heroes, but Zeno Goku Black was one of the coolest things that came out of there. There's a lot of cool things out of, off of Heroes. This is just a fantastic sculpt. Like, look at that. Look at the detail and such on that face. The face looks absolutely fantastic. Really, my only complaint, though, is the fact that the mask doesn't have a red eye on there. I don't know why they didn't do that. But I know Demonical Fit is doing something like that on their version, but we'll do a comparison in a later video, hopefully. You have all of this area right over here of his jacket being made of a floating rubber piece. You can still get some good articulation and such out of the arms without this necessarily hindering it, although it still does kind of get pushed back. Kind of reminds me of the Beast Gohan figure, how they did the torso with that. This is also made of a nice rubber too, so you're not going to have any issues with articulation limiting like that. It's just like the original Goku Black figure in a way. See, that knee is a little bit tight. Probably gonna have to put some silicone shock oil on that to help it out. When you're moving the knees, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break. I mean, sure, it feels a little bit tighter, but they feel secure, so do not worry about that. Really, in terms of articulation, the only thing that I'm worried about is the ankles right over here, which we're getting into articulation. The feet move right over here at a motion. You got the toe hinge right there. Decent amount of ankle pivot right there. We already looked over at the knees. He can do a full set of splits, so that's really, really good right there for Goku Black. He can go pretty far forward for the kicking and such. Because it is 3.0 technology, it is using that same thing where they sculpt the butt flex so he can't move his leg all the way back. He can crunch forward surprisingly really, really well. Going back, I feel like you can get a little bit more out of it, but the rubber's hindering it. We do have a butterfly joint in there. It's not really being as effective as it could be. I actually really like how they did this type of thing with the shoulders, because even though the articulation is not as good as it can be, the sculpt on here seems very seamless, and he moves around more than you would necessarily expect, I think. And you can really just see more of the sculpting right underneath with the muscles and such behind the butterfly joint. That is really cool. The cool thing about the head is that it is on a double ball peg. You're going to get a good amount of articulation in there. Only thing is that there's a lot of breaking of the sculpt right over here in the background. That is unfortunate, but like when you're going to be shooting pictures of this figure, most of the time you're going to have him facing the camera anyways. You're not going to want to have him looking from the side, but honestly, you can still get away with that, depending on the shot and angle of it. But I know some people might get bothered by that. Now for the accessories, let's just look at the hair. So the cool thing about this is that you have the normal Super Saiyan sort of front hair piece. You also get Super Saiyan Rose 2, which looks, really cool. I actually feel like this fits in a lot easier than the normal Super Saiyan one, because there's a lot more front hair piece sort of getting in the way and such. You have a face plate where he's a lot more shocked in this face than in comparison to the regular face plate that I had put on him right away, which, always is fantastic. Then he comes with a face plate like this, where the mask is much more broken and you can see the rest of his face, and gosh, I love how maniacal that looks right there. Look at that. That looks brilliant. Love the sadistic look right there of Goku Black, one of my favorite characters in all of Dragon Ball. And then you get one facial expression of the eye right here going off to the side, which I love that the fact that even though you just see his eye, it definitely gives a lot more expression, I think. And guarantee you, with all the other figures that they're going to be releasing of him, like the Super Saiyan Rose 3, you're probably going to be able to do even more face swaps with this than you otherwise would have been. And also there's an accessory kit that's coming out, which they had just recently started shipping out at the time of this review. Don't know why they didn't ship it out with this thing. I would have definitely combined it with this review. And then for the hands, you got a pair of these, sort of grabbing hands. One of the hands is gloved, the other one isn't. You got a pair of martial arts types of hands right over here as well. Some karate chop hands, probably for when he's using his keyblade that's coming in that accessory kit. A pair of pointing hands because it's Goku Black, why not? Some more exaggerated pointing hands. You know what? I bet I can show you what these hands are for. Gosh, the pegs on these wrists are really small. I really don't like that. I don't know. I thought that this would be the similar hand from when he first turned Super Saiyan Rose and Super, but it's definitely a little bit different. I'm probably missing something from Heroes that he did, like some pose that this hand is based off of from when he did that. And then finally, we got a pair of Kamehameha type hands, which, yeah, there you go. You got your full set of hands. For size comparison, here he is sitting right next to the Super Saiyan Goku 3.0, the Superhero Gohan with the Super Saiyan head from Gamma 1, and then the Figuarts Piccolo right there in the background. Then for some other comparisons, here he is sitting right next to 3.0 Trunks, Figuarts Metal Cooler, and then the first release SH Figuarts Goku Black. Kind of surprised that he's standing a little bit taller than the first release Goku Black. I guess after killing all those 100 Gokus in those timelines, he got taller. Frieza's probably jealous. Now, I already hear some of you guys in the comments. You're probably wondering, well, can you do any head swaps with this figure with any other figures? Honestly, I hate to say it, but no. The double ball pegs that are being used there is much bigger than how the normal 3.0 bodies from Figuarts and Demonical Fit have been. One thing I will say, though, is that the double ball peg does seem to be the same exact double ball peg that was introduced on the Super Saiyan 5 figures from Kong, but because of how hard it was to really be able to interchange those heads, I really do not want to change the heads on there. I'm just going to keep that as it is. I actually tried taking this off as it was before off camera, and the entire double ball peg just came out like in the head alongside with it, and just... that's the one complaint I've been having and such when it comes to Beast Deities, is just they really make it needlessly difficult to interchange the heads. Considering that there's going to be an extension kit where you're going to be getting a base form head and other faces to go ahead and put on this body, you really should make this body more compatible, more easier to do head swaps with. Head swapping, I think, is one of the fundamentals to making these figures as fun, like to giving them play factor. It's one of the fundamentals to giving them play factor, and that's unfortunate that we're not getting that from them. Alright, so for my final thoughts on this guy, he's definitely a good figure. He tackles the articulation very well, he's got a decent amount of accessories. I feel like he had a little bit more for the price point, but really not too much to complain about right there. The sculpting is great, the facial expressions are fantastic. I think that if you are a Goku Black fan, you're absolutely going to love this figure, especially because I feel like he was really just one of the coolest highlights of Heroes when they were doing that arc and such with him. I really feel like Beast Deities has been killing it lately with their releases. I just feel like they should definitely allow for a little bit more play factor to be allowed with their figures now from this point forward, since they're not dealing with the sort of Super Saiyan 5 figures with back heavy stuff that you're really not going to want to do any head swaps with anyway. There's going to be a lot more kits and variants of this figure coming out soon, so I think a lot of people are going to be very happy. This is one of the best releases that Beast Deities has done. I do think that it surpasses the Super Saiyan 5 figures in that this is not back heavy and you can actually articulate it and getting into poses and such and really appreciate the articulation on this figure. And I do think it's cool that they're going and doing more variants of this, since this is really just a cool sculpt and a cool overall figure that definitely deserves attention. With that being said, let me know what you guys think of this figure in the comment section down below. I'm definitely very curious to see what you guys are thinking. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I might do a short on it, responding to some of the comments. And with that being said, I will bring this video to a close. I will see you guys in the comment section. Till then.